Hello, Tanya Valdes. Welcome to Passos del Camino. It's a pleasure for me having you here as a pilgrim and you too being a pilgrim and a place on the Camino owner. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure for me as well.
So, Tanya, let's start with some challenge. I'll put record. I will put playing the song, um, and you have to guess what the song has in common with the Camino. Okay?
Oh boy, okay. You're putting me on the spot. Oh, I love this. It's the theme song for, well, it's the song from the movie The Way. It's a beautiful song.
It is. It is.
A beautiful song.
One of my favorites.
It is one of my favorites too. I'd love to listen to it. It's gorgeous.
So let's start now with our talk.
Phew,
Can
that was a hard test.
our girl from Iowa
Yep,
fell in love with the Camino?
definitely. Definitely. Oh boy. It was oh, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to make it as short as I can. I had cancer 10 or more years ago, and I wanted as a thank you to St. James or a thank you to God. It was a spiritual walk, but it was a spiritual slash, it started out more of a tourist thing, and then it ended up being very spiritual towards the end. But it was a thank you walk for letting me make it through the stage. I had stage 3 cancer. So it was a thank you, but it was so special to me. And that was the day, the time that I fell in love with the Camino, and it gave me so much to me that I wanted to give back.
Amazing,
And
amazing.
you meet
Uh,
some beautiful people. You meet some beautiful people, beautiful places. I just can't say enough good things.
do you remember the moment when you decided to move Spain and build or rebuild a house for pilgrims?
I think it was more a little step by step, kind of like the Camino. It was like, okay, well, I looked for 4.5, 5 years when I was more serious. I probably started looking. I think we all start looking the first time we walk a Camino when we see Se Vende in the window, and the wheels start turning in our heads. And I mean, the thought came to mind when I walked my first Camino. But when I started getting really serious was I walked the Camino Portuguese for the second time because I kind of felt like I wanted to be on the Camino Portuguese. And I walked into the Camino, into Santiago the second time. And all of a sudden I had a notification pop up in Oya, of all places, which is really tugged at my heartstrings the first time I walked through the Camino Portuguese. So it was little by little when the house came for sale and I saw that the view out the window was of the monastery. I thought, I think
Amazing,
this would be great. And I have views of the ocean and I have views of the monastery. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
amazing, amazing. Um, a very difficult question, this one. The Camino is full of moments, amazing moments of sharing, of being lonely too, of I don't know, of just sightseeing, of uh, walking and see pilgrims passing by and say Bon Camino to, I don't know. The Camino is it's something special. If you
Yeah.
could turn back time and get back to your best moments on the Camino, what moment would be?
Ooh. I have to pick just one. Whoa, that's a hard one. Two come to mind for sure. The first one would be Unate, that beautiful, beautiful little church. I think it's a temple. I think it's a Templar church that's on the Frances. It's in between. Is it after Pamplona or right before Pamplona? It
I guess it's after Pamplona.
might be after Pamplona. I can't remember. But I had a beautiful experience there. I met a Spanish pilgrim, and he told me the legend of the story of Unate. And we walked around. We did the walk around 3 times, I think, in your bare feet on the rocks. And then we walked into the church, and there were 3 doves that were flying around on the inside of the church. It was just magical. And then I ended up staying there. I told him how magical this place was and how I felt so drawn to it. And I didn't even know at the time there was an albergue there. At the time it was still open. So I ended up getting to stay there, and that was magical. We went back there after dinner, and we all got to sing in the church, and it had beautiful acoustics, and we had lit candles, and we sang a song, and it was just really special. And
Amazing.
then I would have to say there were a lot of times on the Portuguese way where I've never thought in a million years that you could get lost, because the arrows were sometimes few and far between. And out of nowhere, like I would be walking through a vineyard and I hadn't seen a yellow arrow in probably 2 miles, and I thought, I'm either surely lost or something, I didn't know. And faith, the thing about this Camino Portuguese is it taught me a lot about faith. And out of nowhere, a dear little old lady comes out of a vineyard at like sunset. And I said, am I anywhere close to the Camino? Please tell me I'm not lost. And she said, no, just keep going. That's the thing about the Camino Portuguese. You pretty much just keep going straight until you see an arrow that points you in a different direction.
Yeah.
So lots of things about faith that I learned on the Camino Portuguese that people came out of I love the people of Portugal. The people came out of nowhere. And always that happens in Spain too, but I really felt it in Portugal that even if you're in the middle of a vineyard and you think you're never going to see anybody again, they're there to help you. And it was amazing. At the times when you most needed somebody to tell you you were walking in the right direction, they would come out of nowhere.
How can you describe the Camino to someone who never walked the Camino?
It's wow, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. A spiritual reboot for me, a sense of to get back to basics, to undo the bad things in your life and try to redo them so that you, it's a sense of, it's too difficult. It's a very special experience. I don't know if it's possible to put into it. I've seen some beautiful pilgrims, poems and writings that have been so special. I'll have to find a special poem that maybe comes down. Do you have one? I'd like to know what yours is. It's hard to put.
I have one, but it isn't mine. But I can remember how it's going on. It's in Galician. It's in Galego, but it's something like. And I guess this is why I love the Camino so much, because the Camino it's something for everyone. Let me. You on the Camino, you don't. Doesn't matter if you are rich, if you are poor. Doesn't matter if you are gay, straight or bisexual. Doesn't matter if you are white or black. On the Camino, we are all the same. Doesn't matter if you are a very famous person or if you are a blue collar job. So on the Camino, we are all the same, and we share all the same with all. On the Camino, let me someone says doing a video like this says to me, and I have to agree. on the Camino we aren't. On the Camino we aren't. We are not. We are not we. Do you understand more something like this?
So
And this poem says something that the Camino door it's open for poor and rich, six and not six, something like that. And I guess that will be important. Some to to uh, to explain what is the Camino or how the Camino can be described. One of the stories, one of the stories that I like the most, um, on the first Camino, before the Camino, I was talking to pilgrims, and I met this group from Netherlands. There were like 12 people. There was one guide, um, one I don't know one teacher, and the rest of it were students. They were from my school, and I guess like they were seniors. Um, and they what I understand from them, and they have to choose a project abroad. So part of them went to do volunteer in Germany, some went to do other things in Croatia, and these these ones they choose to walk the Camino. But when the most extraordinary thing was like two of them were from Syria. They were Muslims and refugees from Syria doing the Camino.
that's neat. That's neat. Yeah. I like that there's no particular religion that that it's an equalizer of people. It gives you things, you give things back. You pick up pieces of yourself, or you leave pieces of yourself. There's a Portuguese author, writer that I think that I saw a movie about a train from Lisbon. I think was the name of the movie.
Night train to Lisbon. A night train to Lisbon, I guess.
And there was a poem, and I think there was a poem that really. I think I'll have to look it up again because it's very difficult. That's a question people ask, and I have a difficult time with putting into words my feelings of the Camino.
It's with Jeremy Irons, the movie.
Yes, Jeremy Irons. Now, who is the name of the author of that?
I don't know. The author, the
Portuguese author that wrote the. I'm assuming it was a book first before it was a movie. Maybe.
No. There was a book.
Yeah.
There was a book, definitely.
It seems like there was a poem in that book that I really fell in love with.
No, it's a Swiss writer from Switzerland.
Oh, I thought it was
Pascal Mercier.
Oh, I thought he was Portuguese. Huh. Okay, maybe I'm getting it mixed up with something.
So,
apologies.
No problem. I have a question. If something in the world happens and we all have to repeat the same day, and you are on the Camino at that time, what stage would you like to do every day, every year?
Probably the spiritual variant. I love the spiritual variant because you're walking along waterfalls and brooks and cascades, and you have beautiful old monasteries that you get to go visit. I would say, and Combaro and Armentera. I mean, there's so many. The spiritual variant.
Amazing.
It's beautiful.
So, how do you decide to build a pilgrim town, or rebuild it in this case?
Well, the seed was planted in 2006 when I walked my first Camino, I think I always had it in the back of my head, but I wasn't really sure I was never going to be able to do it. And finally, in 2014, I said, if I don't I'm getting old and I'm almost retired. And if I don't do it now, I won't have the energy to do it. So, and I wanted to give back to the Camino. So, because the Camino had given me so much. So it was a way of giving back, and also was a dream of mine. Every time, it was so difficult to leave. Every time leaving the Camino, it's so difficult. You always want to come back. So it just felt like unfinished business. It was a dream of mine. And finally, when I walked the Camino Portuguese the second time in 2018, this house came on the market. And I felt like, I think that was a sign from St. James telling me, this is meant to be. It's been difficult. It hasn't been easy, but little by little, just like the Camino, it's doable.
Step by step.
Yes, step by step, exactly.
So can you share with us some of that moments, that stories that you can remember, some of them that you like to share with us?
Well, I've had some very Camino angels helping me. I can say good things. I can only say good things about the people that have helped me. Gonzalo, who lives in Santiago, showed me, I don't know how many, I lost track of how many properties he showed me. And then Jessica, there's a gal that lives here in Oya that has been phenomenal and has been translating for me. I'm still not fluent in my Spanish. I know some bits and pieces of Spanish, but as I get older, I'm finding it's harder to remember things. So learning a language has definitely been my biggest challenge, especially because it is Gallego and it's different than normal Spanish. So it's about the Camino angels that have been helping me, and it takes a village, and the camaraderie and the sense of community with the people of the Camino, but also the sense of community here in Oya. Lots of beautiful history here. The monastery is built in 1167 or something like that. It's really, really old. And so they were accepting pilgrims way back when. And just beautiful, special moments. I feel like what they call sacred spaces or thin spaces is one of those places for me.
So Tanya, we are almost finishing, but one question before. What can you tell to someone who never walked the Camino?
Oh dear. Put away any prejudging, open up your heart, open up your mind. Don't have any expectations. Be kind to humanity. It gives you, the Camino gives me the sense of humanity that the way I think the world is supposed to have. A lot of people have said that by walking the Camino that you treat people the way Jesus would treat you. So it doesn't have to be spiritual, but I bet that there's a lot of people that start out as a tourism or a sense of adventure and it ends up being spiritual.
I met so many of them.
Yeah.
And
especially once I decided to I started going into the churches all the time and found that if I didn't go into the church, I didn't feel like I could go on the next day.
And one of the things that I learned also with this project is that the Camino is a life-changing experience, but like we were talking about a few moments ago, it's for everyone, and even if we are just doing sports or tourism, just to feel something, the Camino provides. The Camino shows you the right path.
Yeah.
So just go.
Where is your favorite place on the Camino that you would walk over and over and over again?
Oh, that's easy.
It is easy.
The Primitivo, on the Primitivo, La Ruta de los Hospitales. It's a stage, something like the Pyrenees, like the Pyrenees. I guess it isn't the same, but like in 28 kilometers more or less.
Mhm.
We passed like by the ruins of four different pilgrims hospitals,
Oh.
but in the middle of a mountain without nothing. Like 28 kilometers without nothing.
Mhm.
I guess would be that. But there's a lot on. I guess on the Portuguese Camino, there's this small, very small chapel um, before arriving in Pontevedra, Santa Maria
Right on-
Bertola. They're
It's on
so
the outside.
amazing.
Yeah,
They're so amazing.
it has a really good feel.
Another thing for me was like uh, in 2009 walking the Primitivo too. Um, the I guess on the first day, I was shocked and surprised when I was passing by in the middle of a mountain of nowhere. Let's put it like this way. I saw this like very cozy chapel dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima in the middle of the northern Spain. Was something special. There's a lot. There's also Belesar was very special.
I was gonna say Belazar. You talking on the Camino Invierno?
Yes,
Yes, I thought that was gonna be my place. If there was more pilgrims walking on the Camino Invierno, I thought Belazar really needed an albergue.
Belesar is so
I
amazing.
love Belazar too. Yeah, I like Belazar too.
So there are so a lot, but I guess these are specials.
Yeah.
I don't know. The there's also special places, special pilgrim places where where we are so well treated. For me, on the Portuguese Camino in Caldas de Reis, con Amparo, nel albergue Timonel, um, on the Primitivo with Patricia, a Brazilian girl that walked the Camino French in 2015 and met this Spanish guy from Barcelona. They fell in love. They had a
Oh,
daughter, and to give back to Camino, they built. They already had an albergue on the Camino French, but the first time the wasn't so good, and they had shoes and built a place in the Primitivo, and they are so it's so amazing being there.
oh.
They're magical places, magical albergs that are also mm, worth to mention. I don't know. With Brazilians, there's a place in Santiago with it's a albergue Oxistos. They are two brothers from Brazil. They fell in love with the community, and then they have like it's not just albergue, but also to uh, and they have a chapel inside of the albergue dedicated to Santiago. I don't know, so many. And you,
I have a little cute little chapel when you come into Oya, right on the edge of town. If and it reminds me, it has the same feeling as that little chapel that you just mentioned right outside of Pontevedra. I go there a lot, especially now. With the COVID, it's been a lot of praying, a lot of prayers.
you and me.
Yeah.
So, Tanya, we already finished, but thank you so much for doing this with me. It was amazing moment. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you and hope to, when you stop through Oya, please come in and say hello.
Definitely.
Okay.
Even maybe soon than you think.